Hi everyone. Is agroecology agrarian degrowth? Yes, thank you very much. I don't know the answer to this question, so let's figure it out together. Just a quick acknowledgement that communities, indigenous, traditional, non-capitalist anarchists have been prefiguring both agroecology and degrowth for millennia, so by no means these ideas are new. Both agroecology and degrowth are social movements and academic disciplines. They're simultaneously bottom-up processes as well as concrete policy proposals. They are political, critical, some say radical, so they're difficult to co-opt. They engage with questions of colonialism, racism, imperialism, and most recently patriarchy, gender, and other inequality issues. In science and practice, they organize around meeting social and material needs, and so they engage with the economy, and more specifically with economies. They're plural. They vary depending on where they are practiced or studied, context, geography, history, etc. And I can keep going on and on. But basically, they both call for a rethinking of relationships and redesigning of systems for justice, sustainability, and well-being for all. But my intention is not to simply list how these two are similar, but rather to highlight that degrowth calls for a downscaling of energy and material throughput, which in other words is a reorganizing, reduction of production and consumption. And that cannot be achieved, not even understood, without engaging agrarian questions. Likewise, agroecology cannot continue theorizing rural change with the assumption that economic growth is inevitable or even desirable long term. So agroecology should engage with the growth question. So there's a need for cross-pollination, and this is also an invitation for people who want to talk about this to talk to me or Matt Berg, who I should credit for the inception of this presentation. However, both agroecology and degrowth suffer from existing within or alongside a profit-driven system, and so they become entangled with dominant logics of capital-centrism, patriarchalism, developmentalism, extractivism. And so my call here is to avoid romanticizing and also to, as much as possible, continue supporting economies that challenge these logics, even if imperfectly or partially. So in sum, apart from energy, food, land, and labor are all material bases of an economy, so degrowth needs to grapple with that. Economic growth-oriented rural development continues to lead to land grabs, dispossession, ecological and social degradation, so agroecology needs to engage with the growth question. Degrowth cannot assume that small-scale farming is automatically emancipatory, and should engage more with what sustainability might mean for rural lives and farmers to avoid agrarian myths, and agroecology can keep a critical eye on that. So it seems like it's not a matter of whether one is the other, rather that these two should be in a healthy, loving, interdependent, polyamorous or not relationship. And whether presently there are many alternatives where these conditions are met, I like to think that when capitalism finishes collapsing, an agroecological, agrarian degrowth or post-growth future is possible. Thank you.